So there are three things to sort of be aware of in this video. One is that my hair is an absolute state. I know it is. I've just got out of the shower and I haven't even brushed it because I wanted to film this as soon as I could. Two, there's a lot of noise outside because of the wind. We're currently in the middle of a storm and the storm sounds are happening, but I need to film this as I can. So if you hear lots of howling wind, that's why. It's a storm, so I can't wait for it to die down because I don't know how long it's going to last. And also, number three is if you don't believe in any sort of thing like this, if you don't believe in any sort of haunting things, then this perhaps isn't the video for you. For everyone else, I'd like you to suspend belief and just bear with me. I've finally caught something on camera. So, if this is the first haunted house video that you're watching of mine, I have a playlist and I sort of talk about the things that have happened within my house. A small tiny bit of background history for anybody who hasn't watched the other videos. I live in a sort of, I know it's a 2,000-year-old house. No, I don't. I live in a 200-year-old house, 200 years plus. From moving in, there have been occasions of very strange things happening. And I will say I wasn't a huge believer in the supernatural or anything like that until this house, until things started happening. So if you'd like to know more and see more things that have happened, then I do have playlists that tell you a lot of different stories and things. But at present, we've had sort of a lull of just over a month where nothing has happened. And I've said this happens a few times, sort of ebbs and flows. We get periods of time where nothing happened, and then we get periods of time where we sort of get a week or so where it just sort of kicks off, really. And we are currently in the middle of a week of activity. So it started the other night when I was sat on the sofa with my husband and we were just setting up the Xbox to play, because we are that couple on the evening. My children are in bed, but we are that couple that likes to sit and play Red Dead Redemption at night. So we were setting that up, and we heard what sounded like my daughter coming down the stairs. So we both turned around to see what she was doing, and there was no one there. So he went up to check on her, and she was in her bedroom and my baby was asleep. So no one had come down the stairs. And I will say again that I live in the countryside, so it's very quiet when there's nothing happening, especially at night. So that was weird. We'd heard the noises of the stairs and we just sort of looked at each other and we knew that it was beginning again. And then later on that night, we heard, we've got wood flooring, we heard what sounded like claws, to be honest. We thought it was the dog, but the dogs were in the room, so it sounded like the dog walking along the corridor. So we just looked at each other and didn't say anything, because as I've mentioned before, we don't like to talk about the hauntings that happen within the house. And then the day after that, I was alone in the house and all I could hear from upstairs was what sounded like someone jumping on the floor. So it sounded like someone had gone upstairs and was jumping on the floor, but my other half was out and he had the children with him, so there was nobody else in the house but me and the pets. All pets were accounted for, there was no one upstairs. So it was bad enough that I actually went upstairs to check a couple of times to see if there was someone there, or see if there was some sort of rogue bird or something had got in, but nothing. And it just kept happening. And later on that day a door banged, so we sort of realised that we were very obviously in another haunt week, as we call it. And then the next day we had the kettle switched itself on a couple of times, and it's a click down as well, so it can't just circuit wrong and switch on. Like, you've got to actually click it down to get it on. So that happened, and general just footsteps and things. But then the bit of footage that I've caught is, and again, you don't see much, but you have to sort of suspend belief, but I can assure you and I promise you that, I mean, it's not like it's any grand gesture of anything flying across the room, but I can promise you that this is exactly what happened for no apparent reason. So I sat downstairs and I was reading. It was between 10 and 11 p.m. at night, and I was just putting everything back together to go to bed. Now, we have one corner of the living room at the moment which is a little bit of a mess. It's got kids' toys in it, and there's a huge big fairy house built up. You can get sort of these big fairy houses from Hobbycraft that you sort of colour in. My car is shaking from the wind, my god. Yeah, you get these fairy houses that you can colour in, and it's like a little playhouse, so my kids play in that. So that's in the corner of the living room, and up on the top are Niff Naff and Trivia. My camera was up there. What I'm basically saying is I'm prepping you because it's a mess. The footage you're about to see is an absolute shit tip, if I'm honest. Right, it's not very pleasant. There's things everywhere, but I didn't know that this was going to happen, so I didn't have a chance to pre-prep and tidy up. But as I was getting ready to go to bed, I had just basically put my book away, and I was off to go check on the cats and make sure that they had all of their water and everything for the evening, when I heard my son's my toddler, he's got a little old style record player thing, that's like a little wind up toy. He's got that from Fisher Price, and it just started playing by itself. And I happened to have my phone in my hand. Now, normally when things happen, I don't have my phone in my hand, but I was actually on Twitter scrolling, and I was just like, oh my God, it is happening, it's happening. So I flicked up the camera. I've just realised I sent it, because I flicked it up to send to my friend, so I WhatsApped it. So I'm hoping I'm not saying anything expletive. I haven't actually reviewed the footage after sending it, so if I'm shouting or saying anything slightly uncouth, I can't cut it out because you'll not hear the music playing. So I do apologise. I don't know if there is anything don't know if there is anything that shouldn't be there, but if there is, I do apologise. If there's not, just bear with me. But I managed to catch it playing music to itself. So yeah, so I have footage of the record player playing. Like I say, it's nothing spectacular. It's not like I've caught a chair flying across the room, or it's not like I've caught a figure walking from room to room. I haven't even seen a figure walking from room to room, but I have seen things move. But this one occasion, I happened to have my phone in my hand, and I caught a record player playing by itself. So I'm going to put that in, and yeah, let me know what you think. As usual, let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I'm absolutely crazy. I'm going to be honest, I do. I think it's a bit weird. There's a lot of weird stuff. It doesn't really add up. But suspend belief, have a look, tell me what you think, and I'll speak to you all soon. I apologise for the mess. Bye for now.